Well, all right. Hello, everyone. My name is Eldar. I'm co-founder at On-Off Games. We are a hyper-casual game developer studio based in Istanbul, Turkey. And today I will be telling you about 5 rules that we use to make sure that the games that we produce have always consistent quality. And right before jumping into our rules, I would like to tell you more about ourselves, like about On-Off Games and our background. So we as On-Off Games, we were founded in May 2021, and right after that we had a 4 months period in Crazy Lab Studio Acceleration Program, where we gained a lot of experience in a very short period of time, and we actually made there a bunch of prototypes that had very successful results. I'll be showing you them in the next slide. And right after that we worked on the launch of our first game, Epic Hero Weapon Craft Masters. So we took about 5 months to fully develop the game, like fully launch the game, including the A/B testing and creative development. And right after that we had a couple of months for vacation and self-development, which is necessary after a very long time of work like we had. Anyways, and so then in May 2022 we started our new journey with Step Nation, which is going pretty well. So hopefully we'll soon have new games launched. And let me tell you now about some successful results that we had in the last year, actually about the same time last year. So we had like 11 cents, 14 cents on TikTok for these 2 prototypes. They're actually kind of iteration of each other, but unfortunately they never seen the launch because some other metrics like playtime or retention were still insufficient. But the game Epic Hero Weapon Craft Masters, starting with 23 cents on Facebook, we actually did the launch, and today the game has more than 3 million downloads and it's powered by Crazy Labs. Feel free to download and try it. So let me tell you about our team as well. We have one game artist. He does 2D and 3D art. We have 5 game developers, 1 game designer, 1 product manager, and 2 interns. Briefly, I would like to tell you about the composition of our team. There is like a specific reason why we have like exactly this amount of each kind of specialization. Well, we feel like with this setup of team members, we have like most optimized production power, because like if we will increase the number of developers, then our artists won't be able to make everything in time, and so we'll need a new artist, and new artists' work pipeline will not be as full as the others, so it will lead to many chain link of challenges, let's say. That's why for now we found for ourselves that this kind of team setup works perfect for us. So I think we'll stick for a while with this setup. I'll be telling more about this later on. So we have our office in Istanbul. It's in the European side, in a very busy area. And so let's start with our rules. And the first rule that I want to tell you about, and of course there is a reason why it's the first one, because it's the most important one, obviously. You need to take care of your team's well-being. And what I mean here is like your team members should feel extremely comfortable in your working environment. They shall feel themselves as a growing individuals, and if they have some specific needs, you should meet them. And without further ado, let me show you like what do we do to achieve a team's well-being. To start with, I want to tell you about the custom schedule that we have. So we allow our each team member to have their own working hours. So they specify the work hours for themselves. Like for example, some of our team members might want to like to work in the early morning and some at late evening. And of course, if somebody will want to work at late night hours, they will have to have at least a couple of hours synchronized with the rest of team members, so that their work also gets synchronized with the rest of the team. And we found that it has actually many positive effects on productivity, because like if you force someone, even like I am personally not a morning person, if you force yourself like to start your day like early, and if you are not a morning person, what happens in reality that is that you take a couple of hours just like to wake up, you know, like you need to have your coffee, you need to like make like your brain muscles work slowly, little by little. So it happens that sometimes you need like 2 hours to start like making some productive work. And so that's why we allow our team members to come like at any hour they prefer, as long as like their project like not getting far behind the schedule. So yeah, that's what we do, and I think it's a little bit controversial what I have observed in other game studios. Moving next, we provide gym membership to the members of our team who commit with us in a longer term. And why do we have such kind of application in our team? Well, it is scientifically proven that like if you work out regularly, it affects your mood, it affects your health and your productivity in a positive way, and it relieves stress, and it has other benefits for a person who exercises regularly. That's why we decided to have this kind of application. And of course, like nobody is forced like to go to gym, right? But like we encourage people to do that, and you don't need to be like jacked up. Just like having even light exercises once in every couple of days does a significant effect on your mood, health, stress levels, and you just feel yourself better. And that's when you start making actually like more than 100% that you can, right? You not only you do your job better, you motivate other team members as well. And so that's one of the things that we didn't observe like in lots of other game studios. So that's what we do. So let's move on next. We have private English lessons, which is like we noticed recently it's like very common among the game studios to have private lessons, and of course the benefits here is obvious, like you learn a second language, because often some of your team members have like not very good level of English, and it's very beneficial for them, because like for example we provide like 1 hour at Tuesday, like it's included in their work hour, and 1 hour like from the weekend. So like learning a new language, especially like English, allows our team members to access like lots of knowledge that is available online. Like for example, let's say if you are an artist, you can like find some blog in English that would teach you some kind of specific feature of the 3D or 2D software that you use, and same goes of course for the developers. And yeah, so that's we find it necessary to have a private tutor. So let's move next. We have happy hours. It's very common among game studios. I was underestimating the effect of happy hour on your team, like because like who doesn't drink beer, right? Or like you eat pizza anyway. So like it's, for me it seemed to be not a big deal, but like once we started it, like I noticed that it helps a lot to develop a team spirit, and like just having fun with your coworkers and team members is totally different. Like if you were, let's say, with your like friends. And what we do is like we play games like fantasy role play games like D&D, we play board games, card games, video games. So like having fun time is really necessary. If you're still not doing happy hours, I would strongly recommend you start as soon as possible, and you'll see the benefits for yourself. All right, so let's move on next. We offer Disney Plus. It's not a big deal here, but especially for those like who work remotely and can't join our other perks, at least they have Disney Plus, all right. And hopefully we will be adding more services, streaming server providers soon. But for now, we give Disney Plus. And before moving next, I would also like to mention that the salaries that you offer your team members should be at least a little bit higher than the industry standard, because like not only working with you, your team member will feel themselves as a individual who's growing both like mentally and like in terms of their skill sets and other abilities, but they also will be sure that they are getting paid at least more than majority of the studios that would offer them the same role, and that would actually make your team members stick in your team much longer. And of course, like we are talking here about like consistent product quality, and if you have like high circulation in your team, every time like someone changes and you need to substitute the role, there is like a gap which results like in some inconsistency in quality, and of course it results from the time that it's necessary to get everyone adapted to that individual, and that individual team member gets adapted to the rest of the team. And so that's not what you would like to happen, and that's why like we practice these things. So let's move on next to our second rule, which is make sure you have enough time to polish your game. And of course, like you need to polish your game. We don't ship just cubes, yes. What I mean here is like, especially this happened like once we started growing as a studio. So now that when we had like, let's say 3-4 game developers, we noticed that like sometimes the difference, of course, like some of your game developers have like junior level and some higher level, like mid, etc. Of course, like their work, the work they produce is not the same quality. Like of course you shouldn't be comparing that, but like sometimes that gap can be higher, and what you target here, what your goal here is like to have like same quality product from both of your game developers. And what it means is like you need to spend much longer time on polishing the game of that developer with the lower skill than that of a higher. So of course everyone knows that in hyper casual genre you need to be as quick as possible, because often we race against the clock, and having the opportunity to take longer time is not always available. And so here we need to focus on like what can we do in order to have more time to be able to polish our game, because as I said, it is necessary in some cases. So let's see what kind of solution we found here. So what we did is like this experience that we developed, this know-how for like being a professional studio for more than 1 year, is allowed us to develop this kind of template of a project. So whenever a game developer starts developing a new project, they start with this template. And yeah, I heard that some studios already do that, but like we made this template totally basing on our own experience. Like throughout all those projects that we done, we of course noticed that some kind of elements in the project remain consistent, like more or less, let's say. So that's why we have, like here on the left, you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but at least you can see like a bunch of folders. So what we have there is like all the, like the majority of the necessary folders are already set. And we even have like some kind of presets there, like for example environment or other kind of packages like that are used like in the most projects. So it wins time. Like you don't have to set up your project from scratch. And so also, if you have a look on the right side, there are the scene that game developer starts to work on is not an empty scene. We have all the managers, not all, but like the most used ones, like game manager, level manager, UI input manager. They are already set. They work. They the whole process is like adjusted. We have the level system. All you need to do is like to populate those game objects with your own level structure. And also we have like the lighting settings set up. Like you don't need to arrange the lights or shadows or like the render pipeline, or also like we have presets for materials. Like you don't need to adjust every time the skin color, because we have like sets for like skins. We have for metal surfaces, plastic surfaces. We have some textures that are used often. We have our shaders like world space texture shaders and checkers and skyboxes, etc. So like the majority of things already done in this template. All you have to do is like to develop the core gameplay loop mechanic and just add your levels, and with just a little bit of polish, you are good to go. You are good, like you're done with the majority of the work, and then you can sit with your like higher level developer and make sure that everything looks as it should in your game. So let's move next. So we have this kind of level panels, like level end and level fail panels. We have different of them. They're already in the template. You can just call them. And same goes for like leaderboards, and soon we'll be adding like some chess screens, etc. Also, another practice that we do is like automation in Trello. I'm sure you're familiar with Trello. It really increases your productivity in terms of project management. So what we did is like we set some kind of automation rules in Trello, and it helps us a lot to synchronize the work between our team members. So let's say whenever a game developer like checklists their duties in the project, automatically the other member of the team is assigned a role, and he or she gets the notification in the Slack channel, and then the process like goes step by step, and it allows us to lose less time between those like production steps. Let's move to the third rule, which is like you should always use consistent art styles, and this will allow you to build your own library of 2D and 3D models, and sometimes even as you start a new project, all your project assets can be obtained from your library without extra work for your artist. And actually that's another reason why just one of our game artists is able to satisfy the needs for like 3D and 2D models for 5 game developers. So let me show you what kind of art styles we have. So this is like the art style that we use for simulation genre. And of course, because in simulation you have like close-up camera shot, our model is very high poly here and very detailed. And the specific point that I'm trying to make here is like, if you make your model for like simulation, just if you're gonna have just one model like this and another model like in a different game, you will make like eyes slightly bigger, which is like common in simulation games. Then these two art styles will not be consistent, and you will not be able to use both of this model in a different game. So that's why it will increase the work for your artist significantly. So better to pick up your art style and just try to go with it as you can. Let's check another art style. This art style has, of course, like much lower poly, and it's very slightly detailed. So we have here like some kind of little accessories on neck and arms, and we have some hair and clothes, and that's it. All the other things is texture, and of course this kind of art style is used more in like action and similar genres where the model is not that important, but the action importance is on the front side. And this is like very low poly with little to no detail art style. So the point here is like, if you use consistent art style, often you're not gonna need a new models, you just can reuse your older models. Let's jump into our next rule, which is playtesting. You should playtest early and often, and here I do not mean like the playtest for like identifying bugs and fixing some gameplay loops. No, here I mean that your team should be able to like give you feedback, and in order to do that, you should make sure that your team plays like best hyper casual games, and not only best, but maybe like new, like best of the new ones every day. And for example, we have our team member who like who shares these games on a daily basis, and our team members play them, and this time they developed a good eye for the game, and they are able to play and give a feedback, like for example, when they play particular game, they can say like, hey guys, I seen in this game they did this and it turned out to be like really good, why don't we try something similar? And feedbacks like that could be really useful for your project. Another practice that we have is like we have a Slack channel where we do the breakdown of a meta game of every successful game, and especially if you have interns, that would be a great task for them to improve themselves in like game knowledge, etc. And it makes you very easy like to understand what works in them, why that particular game made this specific UI or UX, and how you can benefit from that knowledge. And of course, like using app radar is also necessary. I think everyone uses it. So let's move on next. And our last rule is like, you need to learn from your mistakes. Of course, like that's what happens most of the cases, like 90% maybe, if not more, of the times you will be not successful in your prototype, right? And so especially if you make your creatives yourself, if you do your creatives yourself, you should extract the knowledge from them. You should check the list of the creatives that were put on test, and like why that specific creative has been chosen by the algorithm to pump up. You should identify the reason. you should know like what you did different there and what it make like stand out from the rest of them. And that kind of knowledge can be used like in your next products, which hopefully be successful. And so that's it for today. I hope I was able to give you some useful tips from our own experience. And if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much.